let's read some of these interviews. I've got a few emails, but I think I'll do that at the beginning of next episode because they're more sort of gameplay stuff, you know. We've got memory chips too, have we? Okay. More frame arms. There we go. Girls, Biako. Right. Okay, we've got a few here. Frozen soap bubble. That's very nice. Dandelion seeds. Beautiful. And album cover, I guess. Okay. So, Dead Man, Fear as Pleasure, 3 years ago, British HQ. Whether they realise it or not, the people of our fallen nation suffer greatly as a result of the separation and isolation we almost endure. That's why oxytocin supplementation is so vital. However, not all of us require it to survive. In fact, recent studies have shown that something very interesting indeed, an increase in the number of people who regard fear not as a stressful experience to be avoided, but a pleasurable one to be sought out. In humans, the amygdala regulates the emotional responses to fear and pleasure-inducing stimuli. Some scientists theorize that because these contradictory emotions are processed by the same region, we may have the capacity to convert one into the other. Conversely, were the two governed by different parts of the brain, such transformation would be impossible. In an age when threats such as BTs, Timefall, and terrorism abound, could the ability to experience fear as pleasure serve as a useful mutation, an adaptation even? I don't see why not. Fair enough. Let's see. So, Neanderthals are not extinct. Hartman, 3 years ago, British HQ. Both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens are believed to share a common ancestor in the form of Homo heidelbergensis. Heidelbergensis, yes. But there are clear differences between the two. Neanderthals were brutish and brawny, well equipped to hunt larger animals and survive in colder climates, whereas Homo sapiens were slender-limbed and only capable of hunting smaller prey. But as millennia passed, Homo sapiens learned to create tools and hunt in packs. The Neanderthals, who actually had larger brains than the Homo sapiens, also fashioned tools of their own, but these were crude in comparison and developed little over 200,000 years. Perhaps because these simple-minded beings favoured small family units, so that even if a breakthrough occurred, it was unlikely to be shared with others. This isolation, more than any other factor, seems to have led to their decline. Homo sapiens, meanwhile, conceived religion, with which large numbers of individuals could be bound together in service of to a common cause. Strength in numbers also made their communities more resistant to famine and other calamities. In other words, Homo sapiens grew stronger through interpersonal connections, by creating what came to be called society. If we persist in our divided state, we risk losing this hard-won unity and dooming ourselves to the Neanderthals' fate. We will dwindle and die, apart and alone, but history holds another intriguing lesson. Homo sapiens did not disdain Neanderthals. The two species even intermingled on occasion. Our DNA retains vestiges of our ancient cousins even now, so you see, while the species itself may disappear, its genetic legacy may yet endure. Hartman's theory of evolution, 1 year ago, Hartman's lab. The evolution of life on Earth could be described as the evolution of consciousness. When the first vertebrates clambered out of the oceans and onto the land, their consciousness expanded to process a new realm that lay before them. But their development did not end there. Their eyes moved from the flanks to their fronts, that they might comprehend the depth of the world. Mammals formed groups, increasing their chances of survival. Eventually they came together in community, and then larger societies. In order to preserve and maintain these structures, humans developed a perception of time, and in order for societies to outlast the lifespan of the individual, we conceived of an afterlife, and a future beyond ourselves. Alas, the death stranding threatens to undo all our progress. Consider the chiral network, which incorporates the beach, where time does not exist. Or consider Timefall, which rapidly accelerates the degradation of that which it comes into contact with. How can our sense of time, honed over millions, remain intact when we must cope with such irrational phenomena? Yet that is but the tip of the proverbial iceberg. We are growing apart, retreating into isolation, gradually losing our place within society. I would even go so far as to say our conceptions of reality are under threat. How could they not be, when our very eyes deny the invisible BT that stands before us? The stranding has warped our consciousness in every sense. If the evolution of life on Earth is indeed akin to evolution of consciousness, then what is happening now is undeniably a regression, is it not? There is one caveat, of course. Some of us are now far more aware of the death than we ever were. That is what Dooms has given us. For me, therefore, Dooms is not merely a biological change. I prefer to think of it as the means by which I have achieved a new form of consciousness. Furthermore, I hope and believe that this new awareness of the other side is humanity's trump card as we seek to defeat the Death Stranding. Umbilical Chords in Devonian-era fossils. Hartman. An article from an old scientific journal was recently brought to my attention. It predates the Death Stranding and concerned a discovery of a 380 million-year-old fossil, one from the Devonian era, to give up a name. It was a fossil of a fish, and in its womb was a child connected to its mother by an umbilical cord, no less. The species Materpices attenboroughi. It's a placoderm, an extinct class of armoured marine creatures that used to live in seas the world over. Unfortunately, most were wiped out during the Devonian era, right around the time of the second of the Big Five, in fact. As you may be aware, one of the key foci of my research is the link between creatures with umbilical cords and mass extinctions. Once this area is connected to the chiral network, it is my hope that we will be able to piece together more data that will help us learn more about the link between umbilical cords and the Death Stranding. The Egyptian View of the Brain, Hartman, 3 years ago, Bridges HQ. It is common nowadays to think of the personality, the mind, of consciousness as a whole as phenomena born exclusively of the brain. However, to the ancient Egyptians, things were different. They believed that a person's soul, their spiritual essence, resided in the heart. As a result, the mummification process involved the removal of all internal organs save this one, the brain included. To the Egyptians, a man's ka was represented by and contained within the heart, whereas the ha was made up of the other organs and the remainder of the flesh. Hardly a picture compatible with modern medical science. But consider for a moment the BBs which porters utilize in the field, and the brain-dead still mothers to which they are bound. Could it not be said that in turning our attention away from the brain and towards the heart, the womb, the umbilicus, in our quest to grow closer to the world of the dead, that we are perhaps returning to the old ways? Repatriates and Void-Outs, Hartman, 3 years ago. I have come across a number of old reports which make mention of humans who have certain powers which have led them to becoming known as repatriates. As we know, when a human and BT come into contact, a void-out results, which is analogous to what physicists would term an annihilation event. These events occur when matter meets antimatter, and mass is converted violently and abruptly into energy. The process is highly efficient, though some energy is lost to the production of neutrinos. Similarly, in a void-out, vast amounts of energy are released, resulting in destruction on a devastating scale which leaves behind a large crater. Void-outs triggered by contact with repatriates, however, consistently result in smaller craters. Okay. It is suspected that this is because energy is lost to the beach in the same manner that it is lost to neutrino production in a conventional annihilation event, and that in the case of repatriates, the amount of energy lost is particularly high. That said, how the repatriate's body survives intact is a far bigger mystery, and one on which I will refrain from commenting until I have had the chance to examine one in the flesh. One notable repatriate is Sam Strand, a former member of Bridges 1 who left some years ago and has been making his way in the world as a porter ever since. I do hope I get to meet him someday, considering how invaluable he could be in advancing our understanding of the true nature of beaches and the Death Stranding. Interview with the geologist. The geologist, 1 year ago, personal shelter. I remember it was before I joined the expedition when I found those documents in Bridges HQ, research papers that predated the Death Stranding. People used to believe that dinosaurs had gone extinct at the end of the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago, but when this fellow investigated various locations where late Cretaceous dino fossils had been found, he came to the startling conclusion that there was hardly any evidence anywhere on Earth that supported the theory that dinosaurs had survived until the end of the Cretaceous. In other words, almost all of them had been wiped out long before that. The only place there were fossils that did support the traditional theory was here, in North America, which suggested that this was the last part of the Earth to have been inhabited by dinosaurs. Not everyone agreed with this analysis at the time, but let's say he had it right. That would mean that there is evidence of a mass extinction hidden here, right beneath our feet, evidence which could prove invaluable in understanding the one on the horizon. Did the dinosaurs who had happened to live here just get here, or is there something special about this place that allowed them to survive? I'd love to get to the bottom of it, but I'm not sure I have what it takes. I'm not like Hartman, I don't have dooms or any other unique traits. Still, I want to make myself useful. I want to research the Stranding and help uncover the truth behind it. That's why I joined the expedition team, after all. Interview with the paleontologist. The paleontologist, 1 year ago, personal shelter. In the period since the very first forms of life arose here on Earth, the planet has witnessed a number of mass extinctions. And, as you are no doubt aware, the most significant of these are known as the Big Five. The first marked the end of the Ordovician period, while the next, at the end of the Devonian period, wiped out almost all marine life. But the third of these extinctions, at the end of the Permian period, around 250 million years ago, was even worse. 96% of all marine organisms and 70% of land organisms died as a result. The fourth extinction finished off most large reptiles, though the dinosaurs managed to hold on until the fifth came along at the end of the Cretaceous period 65 million years ago. We humans are evolved from the small mammals which managed to survive that particular catastrophe. Each of these 5 extinctions resulted in enormous changes to the natural environment. Species which were unable to adapt to these changes perished, while those which were ideally situated to evolve and thrive did just that. Evidence from records which predate the Death Stranding indicate that many scholars believed in a sixth mass extinction event was on its way, or that it may have already begun. There was something of a consensus regarding its cause as well: humanity's destruction of the environment. This led them to sound the alarm, warning the world of what was at stake. At the time, the greatest minds of the era believed that if the ecosystem could be preserved, and if humanity could learn to live in harmony with nature, then a future could be secured for all the world's species, humans included. But that was then, and this is now. If the phenomenon we are currently experiencing is indeed the sixth extinction, then it must be acknowledged that humanity is its main target. Is this divine punishment for our misdeeds? If so, then I suppose there is little that can be done. Perhaps there is no way forward for humanity now. Nevertheless, I refuse to give up. I will endeavour to find hope in our predicament. Interview with the Evo Devo biologist, 1 year ago, personal shelter. I was born after the Death Stranding, so my conception of what the world once was is derived entirely from documents, photographs and video. We didn't used to have timefall, for one, just regular rain, no chiral clouds, only the traditional masses of moisture, and one certainly didn't have to worry about tar bubbling up from underground, in most locales. Humans could travel anywhere, even into space, and we were blissfully unaware of the beach's existence. Suffice it to say, there is no doubt that this is a period of sweeping change that will have lasting repercussions for all life on Earth. Given that dooms may simply be humanity's way of trying to adapt and survive. A beach exists within the consciousness of every individual, but these environmental changes, they affect all life on a genetic level, do they not? That is why I thought to investigate them, and the medium through which I chose to do so is the tar which has become so ubiquitous. But you're not interested in that, I'm sure. So there is a very real possibility that we have already failed to adapt to the sixth extinction, that we are but another evolutionary dead end soon to be left behind. If that is the case, then it could be reasoned that the ones afflicted with dooms, and therefore blessed with an enhanced perception of the beach, are our successors who will survive and supplant us. I suppose that would be a shame, but it doesn't trouble me all that much. My research will survive me as well, and the doomed sufferers can pick up from where I left off. They will carry on my genetic lineage too, for that matter. No, what worries me is that not even dooms will prove sufficient to endure this extinction. If that is the case, then humanity is doomed. It's certainly a possibility we have to acknowledge. But more than that, one question looms above all. Why? Why now? Why like this? That's what I want to know more than anything. So I doubt the dinosaurs and all the other species that came and went ever considered that question. Worrying over the reason for this and that is a uniquely human condition, I suppose. Yet this idle curiosity may be the key to understanding and overcoming the stranding. Tar bubbles up from the beach. Aaron Hill, 1 year ago. I'd heard this area was pretty inhospitable before I got here. Got your fair share of mountains, obviously, and on top of that there are all these rumours about a secret terrorist base or something. So I figured I was in for a bad time, but when me and the team got here, it was way worse than we thought. Felt like we could get jumped any second, I tell you what, though, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the tar out west. Wondered how the hell Amelie and her team made it through, but someone said it was nearly as bad when they made the trip. It wasn't nearly as bad when they made the trip. I was sent out to take a closer look, and man, it was something else, and it hadn't been that long either. Hard to imagine all that bubbled up damn near overnight. Honestly, I felt like I was standing at the edge of the world. We don't know much about tar, except that it wasn't around before the Stranding, same as timefall and chiralium. There's some speculation that it might be a byproduct of the beach, and that if you could somehow retrace the flow, you'd end up there. But that's all theoretical stuff. Right now, we've got a practical problem to deal with. One of the chiral relays we built is at risk of going under any moment. We don't have the manpower to relocate it yet, but we should once the second expedition shows up. Whether we can wait that long is another question, though. Maybe you could tell them to get their asses in gear if you get the chance. Chiralium coatings, George Patton, 2 years ago, way station west of Capital Knot City. Truth is, we discovered it by dumb luck. Folks had made a point of building cities out of timefall regions, but the way stations and the distro centres were a different story. No way around it, really, even though all that exposure meant they deteriorate quicker. But when you're keeping an eye out for things deteriorating, you soon notice how chiralium crystals react when exposed to timefall, which is to say, not at all. They showed no signs of degradation whatsoever, stayed rock solid even after getting soaked. It sort of made sense. Chiralium comes from the beach, right? And over there, time doesn't pass. Timefall had no effect on the crystals because they may as well exist outside time. And when we ran a few experiments, that's pretty much what we confirmed. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why not build way stations out of chiralium, right? Yeah, if only. Turns out overexposure to that stuff is lethal, and it can't be stored in large quantities either. Still, at least the chiralium coatings we came up with do just enough to keep the rot manageable. That's something. Oxytocin, Victor, 2.5 years ago, Port Knot City. Back before the Stranding, people didn't rely on smart drugs like oxytocin so much, probably because they weren't so damn isolated. Me and my brother, Igor, we got separated from our folks after the first void out. Shit was crazy. I was just a kid. But he was even younger. Too young to have to go through all that. Spending night after night holed up in those ruins. It was rough. But we had each other, held each other close to stay warm, and it made things better. Doctors tell you that oxy's doing its thing, the hormone that he releases when we touch each other. That's why mothers form bonds with their kids when they hold them and other stuff like that. But with the comms networks not what they were, it's more dangerous than ever to go outside, and even when you've got other people around, they don't seem too keen to make physical contact. A collective aversion due to an ingrained fear of BTs and void outs, or so I've been told. Add it all up and you've got yourself a people that's isolated, scattered, stressed out and insecure. So we've got no choice but to supplement our oxy levels, fill the void left by physical affection with a chemical TLC. Pretty fucked up, am I right? I know we used to go to war over race and religion all that back in the day, but that had to be better than living like this. Okay, and why planes and drones can't fly. Igor, 3 years ago, Central Knot City. Know what I wanted to be when I was a kid? An astronaut, believe it or not. Must be hard to imagine now, but back before the Stranding, the skies were full of drones, airplanes, all kinds of crap zipping back and forth from continent to continent, some that even went up into outer space. But the chiral clouds put an end to all that. Nothing flies now. Nah, it all came crashing down and my dreams with it. Damn clouds mess with flight systems somehow. Don't ask me how. Eat up comm signals too, which is how come long distance signals can't get through anymore. That's why we've got the countries. Set us back more than a century in that respect. People talk a lot about how the Stranding sent us scrambling for the cities, severed the bonds between us, but it did more than that, and from the sky. Prep interview with the spiritualist. 1 year ago, personal shelter. No one has ever been able to explain the Death Stranding. I doubt that anyone ever will, certainly not with science. Science is only suitable for observation, measurement, objectivity. You can observe and measure as much as you like, but it will bring you no closer to an understanding. Sometimes you need to expand your mind and open your heart. Seek the souls of the dead, listen for the waves on the beach. In antiquity, there were no barriers between the realms. People moved freely between the earth, outer space, and the world of the dead. What are myths and legends if not records of these journeys? My research has only confirmed this. The pyramids of Egypt and Mesoamerica, the Nazcan lines, Stonehenge, all gateways built by humans in order to access the beach. Surely you can see that the wisdom of the ancients has never been more relevant. Okay, a few more. Lucy's report. Concerning the void out of the satellite town of UCA 01002 near Central Knot. City, recorder unknown, report date time unknown. UCA 01032 has been wiped off the map by a void out, leaving nothing but an enormous crater. Terrorism was suspected at first, but the investigation spearheaded by Bridges quickly ruled out the possibility and eventually concluded that the cause was the corpse of a civilian which had been left to necrotize unnoticed in an urban residential area. The deceased was Lucy Strand. Tragically, she was also 7 months pregnant. The child had already been named Lou. Cause of death was ruled a drug overdose, possibly intentional, though that remains unconfirmed at this time. Surveillance data was sent to Bridges HQ for analysis, but the results were inconclusive. Lucy's husband, Sam Strand, had been away for some time and became concerned when he was unable to make contact with his wife. Though he attempted to return home, the void out was triggered immediately after his arrival. Being a repatriate, Sam was the sole survivor of the blast. As the deceased was the wife of a prominent member of Bridges, who himself is the son of President Strand, public support for the organisation suffered. Many criticised the crisis management team's handling of the situation, as well as the priorities of the organisation and President Strand herself. Some believe that Sam Strand was involved with his wife's death and that he should be held to account. While both the administration and Bridges adamantly defended him for a time, public pressure continued to mount. In a gesture his co-workers suspect was his way of taking responsibility, Sam Strand resigned from Bridges. His current whereabouts are unknown. Okay, so I wonder if Higgs had a part in that, You can kind of see her face in the picture there. It's kind of blurred out in the picture we've seen earlier in the game, isn't it? Okay. Report number 1, Lucy. Unknown, time unknown, unknown place. I've just concluded my first therapy session with Sam Strand. It was not held at the patient's request. Sam's adoptive mother, President Strand, approached me in the hope I might help her son overcome his aphenphosmobia. That's his fear of being touched, right? Sam is an intriguing case. His reluctance notwithstanding, he recognises that his condition has and will continue to cause him much distress. I suspect it is rooted in a childhood trauma, but unfortunately we have only scratched the surface and I cannot even begin to speculate what it might be. Like many of the Bridges core team members, Sam is a doomed sufferer. I find it interesting they say sufferer, like it's an affliction. Unlike them, however, he is also a repatriate. Whether or not this is related to his aphenphosmphobia, I cannot say at this time, but he would hardly be the first to manifest phobias as a result of his abilities. As an infant, Sam lost both parents and was adopted by President Strand. Owing to her stressful and time-consuming responsibilities, I can only presume that she was unable to afford him sufficient attention, which is to say that a distant relationship with his adoptive mother may be a contributing factor. As previously mentioned, though, Sam is very reluctant to talk about himself. He is an intensely private individual and will take time to build trust and convince him to open himself up to me. Report number 2. Lucy, time unknown, place unknown. Progress has been slow, but Sam has finally started to open up to me. However, his recollection of early childhood is confused and contradictory. He has difficulty distinguishing between genuine memories and reoccurring dreams. Sam even claims to have met his stepsister Amelie on the beach several times while quite young. An impossible claim, to say the least. I'm only a little older than Sam, but I was born before the death Stranding. A fact that tends to affect the way we think about the beach. In my professional opinion, the beach is a figment of our collective imagination, a shared delusion, but people born later are more likely to take its existence as a given. I wonder if they find comfort in the belief because it helps explain phenomena like BTs and repatriates like Sam. Similarly, my theory is that Sam's manufactured childhood memories of the beach are his way of coping with the fact that neither Amelie nor Bridget spent much time with him. I believe this is also the reason he still clings to the dreamcatcher Amelie gave him even now, as an adult. You could call it his security blanket. It may also be the key to overcoming his aphenphosmobia. Close enough. If Sam were to emotionally distance himself from Amelie, it might reduce his resistance to physical intimacy. I will propose this approach to him in our next session. Now we're jumping ahead a few reports here. Report number 8. Time and place unknown. A few days after the incident in my office, I tendered my resignation, a classic case of counter-transference. The therapist getting emotionally involved with their client, and there was no way my professional pride would permit me to continue working. Felt guilty, of course. There's a permanent shortage of therapists, and many of my clients will struggle to find help elsewhere. But after what happened with Sam, I didn't see any other option. To be honest, I've already come to terms with it. What I'm doing for Sam more than makes up for it. I'd never normally use this word, but I really do believe his aphenphosmphobia has been cured. He's shown so much progress that, absent an extremely traumatic experience, I doubt his symptoms will ever return. To my surprise, the president didn't have any problems with our relationship. If anything, she was pleased. I suppose this means I'll soon be joining the Strand family, together with this new life growing inside me. All right, so this was his wife. Of course it was. And Cliff's, well, assume wife as well, the still mother, was Lisa. This is Lucy. All right, and last few, I guess, then. Okay, report from the report on the void out in Manhattan, number 1. Recorder unknown, date and place unknown. Who the hell? Those were the doctor's final words. At the time, no one knew to whom he was referring, and to be fair, there were no more pressing issues at hand. The doctor in question was a surgeon specialising in caesarean sections. The procedure he was undertaking at the time, however, was slightly unusual in that he was operating on a mother who had been declared brain dead 7 months into her pregnancy. She had been placed on life support, but since her blood pressure was decreasing and the fetus was showing signs of bradycardia, the decision was made to operate. Because the procedure was broadcast to medical researchers on a closed-circuit network, we are fortunate to have a record of what took place. Per the footage, the incision was made without incident. The plan was apparently to remove the fetus from the womb and immediately place it in an NICU, where it would receive the necessary care. Prior to this, the surgeon would of course have to cut the umbilical cord. This is the moment that changed everything. The moment the surgeon's hand touched the cord, in that instant he uttered his famous last words, "Who the hell?" Oh, I wonder if this is BB or Lou. Report from the report on the void out Manhattan number 2. Who, when, where, all unknown. Following a number of tests and experiments, the conclusion was reached that this incident was an annihilation event brought about by the doctor's contact with whatever or whomever he had seen upon touching the umbilical cord, though it eventually became apparent that the doctor had been referring to BTs. At the time, no one could explain the underlying cause of the incident. Some later theorized that if the same conditions, brain-dead mother, fetus, umbilical cord, could be recreated, then BTs could be detected and the mystery of the Death Stranding could be solved. Indeed, this was the theoretical basis upon which the government's own experiments and investigations would be conducted. They called the fetuses they used bridge babies, and the experiments became known as the BB experiments. Soon after the government's program got underway, the tragedy of Manhattan occurred. Okay, and last one. From the report of the void out Manhattan number 3, who, when, where, unknown. The BB experiments were conducted at a Manhattan-based government facility in such extreme secrecy that little is known about them to this day. One thing that we do know for certain, however, is that the experiments ended in tragic failure and were directly responsible for the total annihilation of the island of Manhattan, as well as the death of the president, who had been observing operations firsthand. He was succeeded by then Vice President Bridget Strand, who shortly after her inauguration put an end to all further BB experiments and had all data destroyed. With her strong and steadfast leadership in the wake of the void out, she made great strides in quelling the chaos and unrest that had spread throughout the nation. She vowed to rebuild America and devoted herself wholeheartedly to this end. In response, separatists who opposed Reconstruction emerged and steadily grew more aggressive in their activities. One faction even managed to acquire documents relating to the BB experiments, and some speculate that this data was used to restart them in secret. At that time, however, no BB units are known to have been successfully created, and BBs in general remained a taboo subject in government circles. Very, very interesting. So, but I mean, this BB was provided by British, right? Because the corpse disposal guys had one, you know. So I mean that they worked for British, so they must have come from there. So they must still be using them, and they seem fairly blasé about it. You know, it didn't seem like a big thing. It seemed like a bit of a weird thing, you know. He didn't like using it, but it didn't seem like something super secret. Very, very interesting. All right, so next time we're going to read these mails, then we'll be on to, we'll go see Hartman, see what he's learned. So I actually got BB's level up to full, I think. I think it's max 5 now, so I might as well put something different on here. Oh, it just improves their mood. Actually, no, I will keep that, actually. Yeah, okay. Cover completely disintegrated, didn't it? Okay, let's get a new cover. We'll keep the white. I think I'll fabricate another grenade pouch as well, actually. Might as well do 2, I suppose. Alright, then we're all set there. Yeah, let's get all our stuff on. We've got to read those emails, haven't we? We can do that top side though. So I'm gonna like kit out and everything here, you know. We don't have another one of those supercells is gonna show up or whatever. Like they did at Deadman's place. We've seen, yeah, we've seen this one. Okay. I mean, like, I've seen it a couple of times as well. So I think it's okay to skip those.
Verifying ID.
So let's get some stuff. Orders for Sam. Ah, Peter England. Oh yeah, we'll probably do that soon. Just want to, well, need to get a little bit more of the network set up because I can get all the way over here now. If I can just get a bike there, but I'd also like to set up some zip lines over here just to get over to him. Probably do it from, I don't know, from there, I guess. You know, up there, one over there, one over there. Should do the job. We got anything to Hartman? Because that's where we're going. To the doctor, but otherwise, I don't think so. A lot of orders from here, though. Okay, we'll start clearing some of those up soon-ish. Let's see, what have we got in the private locker here? Carl boots. Bit of container damage. I'll put them on the boot clip, though, so we're good to go there. There we go, this is what I want. We'll take the hematic grenades. Blood bag, can I take both of these? Good. Probably not going to leave the ladders for now, so let's place those in the private locker. Then otherwise I think we're going to be customizing stuff. Yeah. So, good for that stuff. Good here. Could make a all-terrain skeleton level 3, I think is that? Yeah, that one. But the one we've got is in pretty good nick at the moment, so we'll hold on for now. We will do one, but just when this one runs out. Anti-BT handgun, yeah, that could be good. I think we're doing alright on grenades otherwise. Well, we did have one in there, but let's get a new one. Because I think what we can do, we can like, I suppose it could be a terrorist as well. Let's get one of these too. And we'll do an anti-BT handgun. Yeah, I think that'll do. Grenade launcher. And we'll get a grenade launcher. Yeah. Okay, so that's on our suit, that's going in the backpack. That's also going to go in the backpack actually, because it's just going to deteriorate otherwise, isn't it? There we go, grenades looking good, blood pouch looking solid. Okay, how's our terrain skeleton doing? Pretty good, yeah. Like, when that one runs out, then we'll get a fresh one. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Power gloves, could do some more of those too, but we're good. Let's go see Hartman.
Have a pleasant journey.
Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on.
there's an XL for the Evo Devo science engineer there. So I might grab. At some point. Oh, the music get all weird then.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Thank you, Sam. In reclaiming our past, we've uncovered a number of vital clues. Don't worry, I just got back. We have time. When you met with Mama, you experienced a strong antigen-antibody reaction, correct?
There was a BT in the room.
There was, but something else may have been causing it. I've discovered large quantities of chiral matter in Mama as well. Not just the usual kind that collects on our skin or on our suits. It's in all her cells. Cells are no longer active. The BT you encountered there was special. It was her child, but also her own soul. Somehow, her car and half failed to separate. They must have remained connected through the umbilical cord. It's the only explanation.
Is that why I didn't get a bruise where she touched me?
Yes, and there's more.
10 seconds to cardiac arrest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I modified the log times. Headquarters will have no record of what we say. Look, a message from Deadman. It came with the umbilical cord.
Sam, I'm sorry. You deserve to know what you were carrying. But I couldn't risk Di Hardman finding out about the case. So I had no choice but to keep it off the books. You've got to keep this between us. We still don't know if the director can be trusted. The umbilical cord was taken from Bridget Strand. I removed it in secret. The cord wasn't attached to a fetus. It was outside her body. She asked me to take care of it. Said it was the key to unlocking the Death Stranding. But she insisted that I never tell the director. The cord shows no sign of decomposition or necrotization. Almost as if it's frozen in time. I thought Hartman might be able to make sense of it, so I had it hidden with your cargo at Mountain Knot City.
Deadman's observations were accurate. It's just like Mama's corpse.
What do you mean?
I mean, they share a very unique property. Both contain large amounts of chiralium in their cells. In other words, the President's cord was somehow connected to the beach, and that allowed it to escape the flow of time. I've put bones of a theory. It's patchy, but worth sharing, I think. Life on Earth has been rocked by many extinctions, great and small, including the Big Five. And if you examine the Earth's strata, its history, if you will, you'll find corallium deposits that can be dated to each. What if the manifestation of beaches and other associated phenomena correspond to extinction-level events?
You mean?
Yes. Our Death Stranding could just be the latest of many. The records and research you helped us to recover strongly suggest that we are in the middle of the 6th extinction.
6th extinction? Come on.
You know what this is, yes?
A frozen mammoth from 10,000 years ago.
Correct. And this?
The Iceman from 5,300 years ago.
They both had the same umbilical cords.
Bullshit.
Humor me. What if the mammoth and the Iceman weren't frozen?
You're saying time stopped for them just like it did for Mama?
Unfortunately, all these specimens were lost in the Death Stranding, so there's no way to examine the genuine articles, but some fragments of data did survive. With the aid of the chiral network, we may be able to piece together something more concrete using Evo-Devo tech. All right, how's this? A dinosaur from 65.5 million years ago. Umbilical cord, not decomposed.
Only mammals have umbilical cords.
No, only mammals have umbilical cords used for childbirth. This is something else. Call it a strand from the other side. I propose that mammalian umbilici are a sort of mimesis of the strand that then evolved over time. We shouldn't assume that everything about a Death Stranding is detrimental to life. Trilobites, ammonites, dinosaurs, the mammoth, the Iceman, all preserved as if frozen in time, all without exception, found with strands, which is to say that all may have been connected to the beach. And this, when viewed in the context of the extinction entity, EE theory, leads me to surmise that organisms with strands are in extinction entities. You see, Sam, EEs are connected to the beach via their strands. And it is through this connection that they somehow bring about a Death Stranding.
So you're saying Bridget was an extinction entity?
It's far too soon to say anything for certain. And since you burned her body, we may never know.
Higgs said Amelie's an EE, that she doesn't have dooms like the rest of us.
Sam, think. Assume that President Strand was an EE. Isn't it possible that her daughter is too? At the very least, Higgs may hope as much now that the president is unavailable.
So he kidnaps her for EE powers or whatever to cause a mass extinction.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. I doubt a single EE is powerful enough to cause a Death Stranding, assuming Amelie is an EE.
Well, Higgs sure thinks she's got what it takes.
Indeed. And we need to get her back as soon as possible.
1 minute remaining. Please hold on to something secure.
Ah, this one is real. Sam, go west.
How do you want me to handle Die Hardman?
With your customary reserve. Nothing good will come of him learning of our suspicions. Whatever else is going on, we still need the chiral network.
Right.
Activating lab security measures. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What? So humans cause the Death Stranding? That's an interesting idea.
time, Sam. When you're ready, proceed to the shore of the tar belt and begin work on the chiral relay. Once it's ready, use the Cupid to bring it online. The necessary materials are prepped for you. Supplies are limited, so handle them with care. You'll be carrying a lot, too. All things considered, this might be one of your hardest runs to date. Hartman knows more about the site than I do, so he'll take it from here. It's about time for his wake-up call anyway.
Administering shock. Stand clear.
Right. About that way station. The site we have chosen was an original candidate for the way station we lost to the tar belt. Ironically, we suspended construction because we deemed it a little too unstable and not worth the risk. But this time, it's our best shot. So let's hope we weren't right to change horses in midstream. Fortunately for us, the foundation we laid down is still intact. All you have to do is transport the necessary materials to the site and finish the job. I'm afraid it's the only way we can expand the network further west and rescue Amelie. We're counting on you, Sam.
So thinking about what Hartman said there as well, does that mean like you know, Higgs is just trying to move this along and, you know, make what's going to happen as he sees it as like an inevitability? Okay, so it's down there, is it? Right, well, they're not going to be doing that for a little while. I mean, look at all these other places we've got to unlock. Got the Novelist Sun over there. Don't know who's over here. That's going to be fun to find out. And we've got the Veteran Porter here. And not to mention roads to build, people to 5-star, lots to do. So, let's read our emails first, because hopefully the Novelist Sun and Veteran Porter might want us to come and say hello. Veteran Porter, there he is. Didn't the Novelist Sun say something? Nothing really interesting. Okay. Chiral Nightmares. Dear Sam, thanks to you, the chiral contamination's all cleared up. Thumbs up. Nasty symptoms, though. Dizziness, headaches, insomnia. At first I was worried it was all down to my isolation in this shelter and the intense focus on my research for the past year. But it got real bad when the nightmares started. Crying face. I saw the end of the world, a portal to the beach, opening, and BTs pouring through by the thousands. There was nowhere to run, no time, and they began scooping us up one by one, and then the void outs came, bigger and bigger, until a massive one, or several massive ones, enveloped the whole world, and poof, just like that. When I told Hartman about it, he likened it to the visions of extinction doom sufferers. Visions of extinction's doom sufferers tend to experience. Strange though, thinking face. After all, we now have incontrovertible proof that chiralium is far from a recent addition to our world. Anyway, that's a problem for a different day. The important thing is that I'm cured, and it's all thanks to you. Thumbs up. Here we go. The Veteran Porter. Thank you. You saved my life. Sam Porter Bridges, eh? I've heard an awful lot about you. I'm a porter too, see, and I like to take an interest in my fellow delivery boys and girls. Laughing face. Now, you probably don't know the first thing about this, but the fact is, after the Stranding hit, the government didn't come to the rescue. Matter of fact, the almighty USA did jack shit. And you know who picked up the slack? Private porters, that's who. Making deliveries that kept people alive, stepping up and doing what no one else could or would. That's what I grew up in. I learned that at the end of the day, it's only people you can trust. Individuals, not organisations. That's why I want no part of your UCA or Bridges neither. Sorry, but that's just how I feel. Yeah, nuts. Nevertheless, I will say that I'm mighty grateful to you for bringing me those meds. Thumbs up. I'm not sick or anything, just so you know. Not even injured. Just worn out. Burnt out. Fucked on a quantum level, if you like. That's what happens when you push yourself too far. Make one delivery too many. Skullface. Used to be there wasn't a single mountain I couldn't climb. I'd even trekked down south to places most porters never even heard of, much less seen with their own two eyes. Not anymore. I'm not full-on retired or anything, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about how much longer I can go on. Tell you what though, I was doing a lot better after you dropped by to see me. Felt good to know I had a buddy out there. Someone who kept fighting the good fight, long after I'm gone. You'll do that for me, won't you, Sam? Hands together. Oh, speaking of places down south, I remember that last time I was out that way, I saw something. Little glowing thingy it was. No idea what the hell it was, but it didn't look like something somebody had dropped. Ever seen an object like that? Places south. So what's that going to be like? South Knot City? The spiritualist. Can you believe it? I went to the beach. Sam, you have been receiving my emails, haven't you? I hope so. They're important. All the more now that I've managed to visit the beach whale. The Egyptian treasure I told you about. It opened a gateway while I was examining it. I'm not exactly sure how or why it happened, but I began to hear the sound of crashing waves. I focused on it, became lost in it, and when I came to my senses, I was somewhere else entirely. Whale. Or beached whale? Let's go beached whale. I looked up into the sky and saw a great glowing sphere, the moon. Until then, I had only ever seen it in old pictures and photographs, but there it was, floating above me, surrounded by countless twinkling lights, stars. I cannot begin to describe how beautiful it was. I realized then I must have travelled through time to a period when chiral clouds did not blot out the sky above. The excitement was almost overwhelming, laughing face. I just can't believe I didn't have my camera with me to document it. I promise you, though, it wasn't a hologram or a hallucination. It was the real night sky, and I saw it. Spiritualist again. Chiral Network connects people, past and present. How are you, Sam? In good health and good spirits, I hope? I have to say, the Chiral Network is quite impressive. Ever since you hooked the shelter up, my life has become much more exciting. I've been able to procure all sorts of goods that I had never seen before, and I've noticed quite a number of new structures going up nearby as well. I should also mention that I managed to unearth some old research data that may offer some insight into some of the more unusual phenomena you might have experienced firsthand. I'm sure you have a vivid recollection of your many experiences with the seam, but it turns out that the person wandering around it that you may have identified as yourself may not be you at all, but someone else entirely. You see, while everyone's beach belongs to them and them alone, the seam is an altogether different beast, thinking face. I've read about people who had near-death experiences that involved the seam. When they came across this someone else there, they found themselves somehow saved by them in the real world. They'd even received care packages and the like in some instances. Remarkable, you'd agree. You might even say that the chiral networks bridge the gap between this world and that in more ways than we realised. Thinking face. Now, I still don't know who this someone else actually is. The fact that they're in the scene, though, would suggest that it's someone who's died, wouldn't it? Someone from the past. So in essence, the past is intervening to keep the present alive. Love. It's comforting to think that it's not just BTs and other scary stuff that comes over from the other side. Maybe the chiral network can help us reconnect with more benevolent beings and positive forces from the past as well. Thinking face. If I may, Sam, I don't suppose you could keep an eye out for this mysterious someone from the past the next time you visit the seam, could you? Hands together. I wonder if that means when we die and have to swim back into our body. The roboticist, we aren't really here. Sam, I have a confession to make. I'm not here, never was. Skullface, my child, a lie. When you spoke with my hologram all those times, you imagined I was inside the shelter, right? But you never saw me, and the mails you've been receiving, they were written by an AI construct based on my archived data. Had no idea, did you? Thought I was alive and well. I am, in a sense, since I'm nothing but ones and zeros now. I can't die either, so long as the generator you brought me holds out. Guess I found a way to outlive the Stranding, laughing face. Ha, not really, I'm still kicking. Still waiting to see you come over the horizon with another delivery for me and little old me and mine. Until then, old friend, don't be a stranger. Heart. The Evo Devo biologist. Will new life rise from the tar? Allow me to thank you again for your assistance, Sam. Heart. My tar analysis is ongoing, but I was somewhat surprised to discover that it contained chemical compounds which bore a striking resemblance to D-amino acids. These so-called right-handed acids are rarely found in organisms on Earth. Left-handed L-amino acids are what one generally expects. However, this sample of tar contained none save the rarer variant, tears. The hypothesis that this tar may function as a medium to summon the past into the present may be incomplete, for it may also give rise to new life comprised of D-amino acids. New life more accustomed to thrive in a post-Stranding world, perhaps. Stranded beach whale. Would its rise coincide with the fall of L-amino acid-based life, such as ours? All I know at this time is that the Stranding is almost certainly the source of this and countless other unexplained phenomena. However, what ultimately lies in store for this planet and its inhabitants remains a mystery. Skullface. Yeah, if I understand it right, there was quite a few theories that the amino acids that are needed to make, create life. Quite a few people hypothesized that these were... Okay, that's a bit weird. Ah, the chiral boots I picked up actually lost cargo. They can't be. What the hell is that all about? Oh, I guess they are. There we go. Seems I can wear them though. Cool. Yeah, the amino acids came from meteorites and space debris that crashed into the Earth. That's a pretty cool theory. So we're all technically aliens. Geologist, you're 5-star already, aren't you? You're not yet. You're not yet. Mountain knot, we could do that. We've got the doctor as well. That's also mountain knot. And that's collection back to Hartman. No, let's do the 2 mountain knots and the doctor one for now. Then I want to start doing the ones from mountain knot really, because there's so many of them. Building the roads and things like that. So I hope I can carry this much of all these. Hope it's not a load of little ones. Are we good? Yeah, we're pretty good. Okay. Alrighty, so it looks like we're well, getting towards the end parts of this area. We've got our final destination side. We've still got 3 preppers to get on board. Don't even know what one of them is yet. We're going to have to go find out who that is. Probably do that when we finish up the zipline network around here. It's going pretty good so far.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
So I think we'll go to the doctor first, I guess. See if he's got anything for mountain knot. What's that? That's a bit weird. I reckon someone's tried to put a zipline there, you know, and accidentally built a post box and just left it there. For whatever silly reason.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Card. Delivering cargo.
Hello, Sam. It's a pleasure to see you again. Excellent. Everything appears to be in perfect condition.
Ooh, nearly 4 stars.
Oh, by the way, I came... Do remember not to...
Good work. New.
No, that was a geologist, wasn't it? Oh boy.
Order assigned. Delivery parameters updated.
Oh, we're okay.
Time limit set. Weapons restrictions lifted.
apparently, according to that, there's like 84,000 people living here. What, in these?
Verifying ID.
I don't think so.
Weapons detected.
Or are they supposed to be all underground or something?
Cargo verified. Thank you.
Keep on keeping on.
Decontaminating suit. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter
Keep
Bridges.
on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Hey, Sam. Welcome back. Tough journey as always, I bet. Wow, how did you get this here so fast? I tell you, you never fail to impress. Thanks, Sam. You're an inspiration to all of us.
Good work. New order.
Alright, that one. We've got some decent amount of ceramics here, actually, and metals. Let's see what this paver needs. It's still a lot, is it? Yeah, 1900 metals and 2000 ceramics. I think I might do it though, just because then it's, well, actually, you know, I need to get this guy on board to get at least a few in there. So I guess it's going to kind of go down there and join up here somehow, probably along here. Let's see if there's anything for the Novelist's Son here. There is, okay. Okay, let's do that one then. Stop off at the photographer as well, see if they've got anything.
Order assigned. Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Thank you so much.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Okay, I'm going to try a network down the mountains now. Did I just pass up a delivery to the photographer as well? I think I might have.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID.
Keep on keeping on.
Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Okay, nothing there. Just a load of idiot trucks. Any bikes around here? I think I need to build another zip line around here somewhere, don't I? There's one up there. So maybe the smart place. Let's go get a PCC. How are you guys doing for stars? Okay, nearly at 4. I might take on an order, because isn't there like a little fetch quest pretty nearby? Oh, that's the way we're going, so why don't we do that? Oh, it's a time limit one though, is it? No, is it?
Order assigned.
Yes, it
Delivery
is. Okay.
parameters updated. Time limit set.
Go get him, Sam.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Should work, right? Please be 300. Nice.
Sam, if you think a prepper will let you build on their property, you're sorely mistaken.
I
The sensor
don't think so,
ring marks
Dahab,
their
man.
claim, so pick a spot outside of it.
Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until
Wait,
departure.
how far is my zip line from where we're going? Not very far at all. Alright.
Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges. Weapons restrictions lifted. Construction complete.
There's a bridge over there. Ah, okay. What am I looking for here? Okay. Damn it. Fine, we'll use a bridge. That's my bike. Probably just about knackered, I'd have thought. World's End. Okay. That was a good movie. That's where BB. Or Lou, I should say now. It's just that one, isn't it? Oh, damn it, is that one moving? Sticky gun. Oh, what the hell? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, I think we're good. Is that bike still? It's not sparking, is it? I gotta grab that actually. Oh no, it's sparking. Screw it, we'll grab a truck when we're up there.
Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
It's great to see you again.
Delivering cargo.
Hey, Sam.
That should do 4. Yes. Alright, not bad.
Good work.
Bye for now, Sam. All the best.
So I think we've just got to kind of make deliveries to this novelist's son and the other ones until they like send us an email or something. You know, and I think I don't know if it's a degree of randomness or whatever, but that's just what we got to do. Probably a good place to cross over here. It's all pretty deep, I think, actually. All these things can, like, raise their wheels, right?
Still got it.
There we go. Now, where are you? Over here, aren't you? Right? Nope. Wrong. Every little helps, I suppose. Although I did read somewhere that it might be like deliveries regardless of what's in them, just the number of deliveries that can do it, you know. I don't know how true that is, but well, deliver it, see what we get. But I want to do this before we finish off the roads. That's the main thing I'm focusing on this one at the moment, I think.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Fragile Express ID. Verified.
Always a pleasure, Sam.
And then I think like we have to rest, and then there's a chance that he'll... Oh! Ooh, nice. Progress. Sandy tan, nice. Ooh, that's very good. So 1 star might get him to do a contract. I think we need 2 stars to... what was that? No. 2 stars might be enough to...
I've asked around about the network you've been building. If I can get
Join
a
the
pre-deal
UCA.
without going all in on the UCA, then I'd prefer that.
Okay, good. So I think that just means 1 more delivery to him, and we should be on board.
Thanks for that. I'll think about the UCA and if it's right for me. Take care now, Sam. I'll be calling on you again. Until then.
Might just go and see if I can find some lost cargo if it's just around here, you know. Because he's still not going to be... Oh, they are adding to the pavers now. Okay, well... Alright, well, I'd still like to get him on the UCA. Anything around here? No?
Weapons restrictions lifted.
How destroyed is this? Oh, very. Okay, we're going to be using this. And... we're going to go build a road. So, let's see. We really don't need very much here, do we? Let's start building zip lines too. Good. This road's going to go straight through their territory, isn't it? Oh, we can see that now. We couldn't see that before. Okay. So we really need very little. Like 200 metals and 400 ceramics. I'm laughing. So let's go do that. And if we see something for the Novelist on the way, more's the better. So, like I say, I think that's how it works. 1 star is contract, 2 stars is joining the UCA, all in, you know. Oh, okay. trying to remember now if I actually put any materials in that paver, or is that the next one after the one we're going to do? No, that is the one we're going to do now, isn't it? Let's see if these guys have got any deliveries for Novelist Sun 2. There we go. That'll do us. Oh, he's got a couple. Okay. That's quite a heavy one, so I'm just going to do these two. And then we'll take our gear. Right, sure, that's fine. Then what was it? 200 metal, 400 ceramic. Ooh, okay. Yeah. That's fine. Actually, let's put the... These two can go in the private locker. No, wait. That can go on the tool rack, and we should be able to carry a fair bit more. Okay, so 200 metal, 400 ceramic. We'll do that and that, and that should do us. It's gonna be a bit heavy, but it's fine. We're just getting on the bike, then getting off again. Oh crap. Okay, fine. That has changed a bit since last I came through there, or did I come through in a different place?
Stretch my legs. Too close.
No. Sam, stop mucking about. Look at the thing. Very nice. Now, where's our next paver? How far does this go, actually? Ooh, that is turning quite dramatically, isn't it? It's going right through their territory. It's over there. Oh, it's not quite inside it yet. Okay. Pretty doable too. So what? 750 and 1200. Okay. Let's just go get the Novelist Son on the to join the UCA, and then we are good. And next time we are going to finish up those. Well, finish up maybe. Probably. Won't need that much. Set up all the roads there, and then we'll probably do Peter Englert, because I think this might be the last one for him. And then we can just road trip it like all the way back round, you know. And that I would quite like. Well, it'd be nice to do that whole journey from like either Lake North, South North, like all the way around. You know, I think that'd be cool. And can we build zip lines here now? I'm not sure if we can do it. I think we need to get them to join the UCA before we can build our structures. So that's the reason to do it, you know. That's quite a large one. I'm gonna grab that.
Nice.
That's why I want to do it. So we just build another zip line and then we're set, really. For getting over here, and makes the 5-starring a lot easier. So how far are we from that zip line now?
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID.
Okay.
Verify.
It's down here. So yeah, probably will. Well, we definitely will need another one in between, or we just put it down here and do the little jog. I don't think that's really an issue either.
ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Delivering cargo.
You look good, Sam. This is
I wonder if we need to rest in between, actually. Yeah, we do. Okay. It's a bit annoying. Okay, so we need to rest. All right.
Take it. I'll be calling. Until then.
So what we'll do next time is probably head back up to Mountain Knot. That might even do it. Well, we'll do a rest first, because they're kind of annoying ones. Could try just going back there, see if they've got any more. How is the distro center doing? On the old stars. Ooh, needs a lot of work. Okay, so we'll probably pop back there, see if they got another one. Rest up at the distro center, and then come back and see if we get them on board.